What's up, NFL fans? This is Bumblebee Talks Sports, and I hope that you guys are having a fantastic day. Today is the fourth installment of NFL X Factors going into the next NFL season. I've had a lot of fun making these videos, and now we're getting to the point where my opinions are starting to get a little bit controversial. So don't be afraid to leave your comments down below with if you guys agree with my picks or if you guys don't, and which ones that you guys will change. But without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into the NFC South X Factors going into next season. So, without really looking into any details before I made this video, I realized that the Carolina Panthers and Cam Newton went 15-1 in the year when Kelvin Benjamin suffered his season-ending injury. So Cam Newton really didn't have a real number one wide receiver. And then this season, the Carolina Panthers were basically just another NFL team that we were getting used to just watching on NFL Sundays. And that simply can just not be the case coming up this season. With the addition of Christian McCaffrey, the offense will have the explosiveness and the unpredictability that it needs. But we're not here to talk about Christian McCaffrey. Really, this is the season when Kelvin Benjamin needs to take his leap into the ranks of the top NFL receivers. And we all know that he's capable of being great. I mean, when he was a rookie, Benjamin caught the ball for 1,008 yards and 9 touchdowns. But then in 2015, we all know about the injury that he suffered, and it did hurt Benjamin a little because his numbers did decline, because in 2016, he caught the ball for 941 yards and 7 touchdowns. But this is the season for those numbers to increase dramatically. The Carolina Panthers have upgraded their team this offseason and through the draft. So if Kelvin Benjamin can be Cam's number one guy, I think they'll be really unstoppable coming up this next season. With the addition of Christian McCaffrey, like I said, these three guys can be the three-headed monster. So, even though Tom Brady is the GOAT, there's no doubt about that. And there's no doubt that last season, during the Super Bowl, the New England Patriots were fantastic and really putting on a hell of a show. But really, I think most of us can agree that it was the iffy play calling by Kyle Shanahan that led to one thing to another, and the New England Patriots won that game. And Kyle Shanahan is now the head coach for the San Francisco 49ers. But before that, Kyle Shanahan and Matt Ryan led the Atlanta Falcons to the highest scoring offense in the NFL. And now all of that weight falls on new offensive coordinator Steve Sarkisian. Now, after reading a lot of articles about it, and to no surprise, Dan Quinn and the Atlanta Falcons aren't going to be changing the offense that much going into this season. But there's no doubt that Sarkisian will bring in some of his own ideas, but for the most part, it's going to stay the same. But it wouldn't really be that big of a problem if it wasn't going to be Sarkisian's first stunt in the NFL. He was the head coach for the USC Trojans from 2013 to 2015, and then became the offensive coordinator for the University of Alabama. But we haven't really seen a lot of successful college coaches moving to the NFL. But for the most part, the Atlanta Falcons offensive core is really the same, with improvements on defense, which should, in total, help the offense. So good luck to Steve Sarkisian, my first NFL X Factor going into the season as not a player. 5 years, $36 million. That's how much my next X Factor for the New Orleans Saints signed for last season. And most people don't even remember his name. Yes, my Saints X Factor next season is Bumblebee Talks. With the departure of Brandon Cooks, the New Orleans Saints are now in search for a new #1 target for quarterback Drew Brees to throw to. While Willie Steed can maybe step up to the role because he has been Brandon Cook's sidekick last season, and also the emergence of Michael Thomas at the end of last season was really the reason why I think the Saints were so comfortable with trading Brandon Cooks. But really, I think that it has to be a tight end, Bumblebee Talks. The last time the Saints were a powerhouse in the NFL was when they had Jimmy Graham as their #1 target. Talks blames it on not really knowing the offense last season, and really, his stats showed it, seeing how in his first season, he caught the ball 50 times for 631 yards and 3 touchdowns. And maybe I'm just holding this guy to a higher standard because the year before when he played for the Colts, his stats were basically the same. And that's maybe why the Colts didn't sign him back. But this is just my opinion. And in order for the Saints to go back to being the old Saints, I think Bumblebee Talks has to be the #1 target. And of course, the defense has to be a lot better too. But let's focus on one thing at a time. Now, this one was the most simple one of them all. I've made videos about this guy already, and the hype surrounding him is real. Jameis Winston. I've done a video on if Marcus Mariota or Jameis Winston will win a Super Bowl first, and I believe that Jameis Winston will. Feel free to go check out that video, I'll leave it in the description. It's really a no-brainer why Winston is the Bucs X Factor. Because last season, when we saw the Bucs put themselves on the map with an on and off running back in Doug Martin, and basically interchanging Jacquizz Rodgers and Charles Sims. But this season, Doug Martin went to rehab, and he says that he's back and better than ever. The Buccaneers drafted tight end out of the University of Alabama, O.J. Howard. And to go along with already superstar Mike Evans, this is the season for Jameis Winston and the Bucs to put it all together. Looking at it, Jameis Winston has an easier road to the playoffs than most. His division isn't really that hard to get wins in, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers team as a whole is good enough to get wins outside of the division. So I'm expecting the Bucs to make this leap this season. With the help of the defense, I think that Jameis Winston will step up to the leadership role, and really, I think the reason that got him drafted #1 overall in the first place, and lead the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to a winning record and a playoff spot going into the next NFL season. There we go, guys. The 4th installment of NFL X Factors going into next season. If you guys enjoyed this video, hitting the like button is super awesome, and smash that subscribe button to stay up to date with everything NFL and Madden related. Thanks to all of the people that have subscribed to my channel already. Your support is what's going to continue to grow and make this channel awesome. Don't forget to leave your comments down below on if you guys agreed with my picks or if you guys didn't, and which picks that you guys would maybe change. Add me on Xbox One and follow me on Twitter. I'll leave those in the description. But